ACORN national spokesperson Scott Levinson joins me now. Hello, Scott.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. How are you? So, what happened in Nevada? They say that you just made up a bunch of names.
Well, and there are several things that are going on. We've said all along throughout the fall, over the last several months, that we never had a quota system. We never paid people by the individual form. And I think what you'll find when the Nevada facts roll out is that's exactly what's the case.
Okay, you've never offered anybody money to, if you get extra, there's no blackjack system.
No. Let's be clear that across the board nationally, ACORN has a system of not paying people.
Okay, but what about Nevada?
In Nevada, we had a guy who was doing something that was wrong, quite frankly, Glenn.
Okay, so
our supervisor found out about it, ordered him to stop.
Okay.
It seems that what in fact happened is he didn't stop. But what I think
hang on just a second. I just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah.
So you're saying ACORN didn't do it?
I'm actually saying that ACORN, as a matter of national policy, does not have. Okay.
I understand. I mean Nevada.
Correct.
In Nevada, you didn't do it. It was what?
In fact, it was an employee.
It was an employee. Correct. So you had a bad employee.
We had a bad employee.
Okay. Let me ask you this. In Missouri, 8 workers pleaded guilty to election fraud. Mm-hmm. Washington State, 7 indicted, 3 pleaded guilty. Colorado, 2 convicted of perjury for false registration forms.
Do you want to take these one at a time?
No. Wisconsin, workers charged with election fraud for following out false forms to meet daily quotas. New Mexico, forced to run background checks because 9 ACORN employees had felony records.
Glenn, where are you reading this from?
This is just out of the news. You have
but again, 14 it's out of the news.
States. No, you have 14 states. Your employees pleaded guilty.
Correct.
So what you're asking me to believe is that you guys are innocent. It's just that you have bad employees.
What I'm asking you to believe, as I would ask you to believe with any major corporation that has employee theft. When there is
okay.
Well, let me finish the thought. No, please let me just finish the thought.
Let's just
because it's actually, please, let me give it one step further. Please, if you just
go ahead.
In each of the cases that you walked us through, we've turned over evidence to the authorities. Each of the cases.
I know. No. You're saying you guys have bad employees. You've had really 14. I know.
It happens.
Every company has bad employees.
13,000 employees. You had a few bad apples.
Let me show you another bad employee. Can we roll the? See if you remember this guy. There's nothing to do with ACORN. You remember this guy? This is the guy out of Burger King that was a bad employee, a rogue employee. He was taking a bath in a Burger King sink. You remember this story?
I don't.
Okay. This is a big deal. And he took it. Rogue employee. Burger King doesn't have a policy of people bathing in their sinks, right? You don't have a policy. But that's one rogue employee. If there was a story that there were several employees in 14 different states
that were what?
That were
bathing in the sink?
I'm just saying.
I'm just sorry. Wait. This is the parallel? This is the parallel?
Yes, it is.
You're comparing bathing in the sink.
Yeah, with fraud.
Okay. Well,
if you as a company, sir,
yes,
if you were Burger King and you had about 40 employees that were doing that, it wouldn't be a problem with rogue employees. It would be a problem with the company.
Glenn,
you would be a bad manager.
You named 20 workers out of 13,000. That's what you named.
Showed you.
So what is the percentage?
Which is worse? Bathing in a sink. Just help me.
Let's go further.
Which is worse? Bathing in a sink or fraud?
But Glenn, I want to ask you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Throughout the fall, Fox talked about Mickey Mouse voting.
Yes.
And Jimmy John's voting.
Yes.
It's now 6 months after the election.
Right.
Where is the fear? Because clearly not one person have we been able to find who voted inappropriately that we registered. Not one.
We're finding lots of fraud.
No, but wait a second. But you're not finding fraud. Wait a second. In fact, we weren't charged.
Yes.
Well, let's
voter registration fraud
is not what we were charged with.
Oh, you were in these other states.
No, our employees were
your employees
in other states.
Just like
Walmart.
If you had that many employees bathing in the sink
how many Walmart employees? How many Walmart?
If you had that many, shut his mic off. If you had that many, yes, again, yes.
Shut off by
if he had that many employees at Burger King bathing in the sink, would you ever eat a burger there? Ever? No. This is unreasonable to believe he has that many bad employees. Let me ask you this question. You can speak now. Let me ask you this question. Are you so afraid of the Republicans that you have to invent voters? Are you that afraid? I mean, the Republicans can be beaten without voter registration fraud.
Where is it? Where are the voters we
Voter
invented?
registration.
Where are the voters that were invented?
I think you got 23,000 of them in Nevada.
Oh, really? You should read those facts because,
really?
in fact, really, Glenn, because if you read your facts, 23,000 were the amount of people who voted because we registered.
I'm sorry.
That's a little bit different. It's a little bit different,
yeah,
Glenn.
You're
don't
right.
you think?
That leaves
facts are kind of important. Facts are kind of important. Have you registered a voter? Glenn.
Have I registered
Have you
a voter?
ever registered someone to vote?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so you have no idea what it's like.
I know, it's so hard. You know what? That's why you have to.
Do you know the process?
Hang on.
Do you know the process?
Is it difficult?
Do you know the
yes
process?
or no, sir? Is it difficult?
Question.
Really simple question, even easier. Is it difficult?
Is it difficult work?
Yeah, is it difficult work?
It is actually hard.
So let me ask you this.
And let me explain.
Why would you? No, please.
You care about the facts. I thought you cared about the facts.
I do. If it's so difficult, why have you hired people who have been imprisoned for identity theft?
Excuse me? I mean, really, excuse me, do you really want to go talk about that case?
Yes.
You want to talk about the furlough program that the state offered.
Fraud.
Listen, the furlough program that the state offered, who released these people
but it's so
to
hard
work for us.
I apparently can't do it because it's so hard.
No,
how would you hire somebody with identity fraud?
You throw out these numbers like 23,000 and you weren't even clear what the 23,000
Help me out. Identity fraud. You have nobody?
Again, do you not hear me on the state furlough program?
Do you not? Identity fraud?
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
I got it.
You talking to me?
I got a state furlough program. The state turned them over.
Let me ask you this.
Sure,
Let me ask you this question. Name a couple of Republicans that you've backed.
A couple of Republicans I can't off the top of my head.
There's got to be a couple.
I can't off the top of my head.
How about one?
As I said.
One. Just one.
The first time wasn't. I'm
one.
Sorry. English is my first language, so maybe I should try something else. Not one. I can't.
You can't.
Off the top of my head, no.
Give you time.
Thanks.
He's just thinking. He's trying to come up with one person. No, because you don't. You care about the. No, you care about the two-party system.
If you really want to get to the facts, that's exactly what it is. Because when you talked about the 23,000 fact, that wasn't good enough.
You're right.
When you talked about the state furlough programs, that wasn't good enough. When you talk about the fact that we weren't committing registration for it, that wasn't good enough.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Gresh, did we happen to roll tape on what happened in the middle of this in the commercial break?
We did not know.
Who thinks that he told me that what was it? I thought he said I hate black people. How many here thought he said that? As soon as the cameras went off, that's just me and Aaron. You thought he. I was afraid of black people. That's actually what he said to me. Let's just take it at that, because that's better than I hate black people. I was standing here, and he gets up, and I said, "You, sir, and your organization are bad for America." And he said, "I'll use yours. You're just afraid of black people." I threw him out of the studio. Get the hell out of my studio. And then he went off. He went off. These are. I asked him when he sat down. I said, "So what did you do before this?" And he said, "Well, I've always been a community organizer." I said, "Well, what did you do before this?" And he said, "I was a union organizer." I said, "Oh, what a surprise that is."